So let's get started, everyone. Okay, so let's say I want to read a number. Okay, so I say num equal to int of input, right? And I say enter a number. Even though you are saying enter a number, but you have no control over the user, isn't it? User can enter A by mistake or unknowingly, right? Your program ends there. So you have written such a big program, okay? But because of one mistake of user, your program ends. Imagine you are booking a train ticket or air ticket. Instead of your name, you gave number, and system crashes, website crashes. Again, you have to start from beginning, right? That's not a good thing, right? Your program should be able to handle such, we call it as exceptions. Okay. So if you see the errors, there are three types of errors. Okay. First one is called your syntax error. What is syntax error? When you give wrong syntax, wrong grammar. Okay. I forget to give this bracket. Supposed to give two brackets, right? I forgot one bracket. Syntax error. So it has not fulfilled the grammar part or the rule part. You are not following the rule. It is there, so you have to give it. Okay. There's no logic. There's nothing for it. So this is an error. The syntax error are easiest to check because the moment you will do it, Python will tell you it's an error, or when you run it, you will see error. Okay. So your program will not run without fixing this error. So syntax error means when you are not following the rules, and probably the easiest of error to check. Second is your logical error. Okay, logical error is based on the logic. You got your logic wrong. In the sense, let's say you are supposed to add two numbers and you put minus. Okay, your program will run, everything will happen fine. You submit and then you realize that okay, it's crashing. Okay, imagine a bank, when you withdraw some money, instead of minus, it does plus. So more you withdraw, more money will get to your account. That's the logical error. Very difficult to find. Okay, and there's nothing. Python cannot do anything, right? It is your logic. You have to fix it. Okay. Yes. Third type of logic is called exception or runtime error. You will only realize at the runtime. Syntax, you will realize before runtime. Okay, syntax error is there. You will realize before you run the program. Logical error, Python will never ever tell you. You have to figure out that there is something wrong in the logic. You see the output. Output is not what you are expecting. It's a logical problem. Exception or runtime errors, they are done at the runtime. For example, here syntax is fine. Everything is fine. Now, if I enter, okay, if I enter a text, okay, then only this will fail. If I enter a number, this will not fail. It will work fine, isn't it? Yes. So this is called runtime error. When error happens during execution. Okay. So one example is this. Second example is, let's say when I'm doing division. Right? I say val equal to a by b. Now, a by b is a valid way to declare variable, right? I say a equal to 5, b equal to. Now, if I don't define b, this is syntax error because b is not defined. You have not told what b is. So the b is not there, and you are using something which is not there. So this is syntax error, not defined. But if I say b equal to 0, it becomes runtime error because we cannot divide a number by 0. Okay, so these are called exceptions or runtime error. Error which you will realize at the runtime. Okay, so each exception has a name. Each exception has a name. So, okay, this is the name. You see that last 0 division error colon. Okay, this is the message. Okay, customized message, and this is the exception name. Okay, so we need to handle these exceptions. Today we'll see or to handle these exceptions. Okay, exceptions. So like you have a zero division error, or let's say I run it and I enter a text here. It's called value error. You see, these are called value errors. How do we handle zero division error, value error? And there are many such errors. If you are trying to read a file and file does not exist, file not found error you will get, right? There is also an exception because that's not a syntax error. If file is there, it will read. If file is not there, it will not read. Okay. So to do this, you have to first guess which line can give you error. Okay. You have to guess. You have to predict. There's no way you can handle it without knowing. So when you are writing a code, each line, you have to think of what all runtime errors this can get into. Okay. Okay. So for example, when you are writing something like this, you know that we can get into value error. Okay. So if you don't have to remember the name of the exception. While we are developing, you just purposely give an error. You will see, oh, value error. So I need to handle value error. Okay. So whichever line or instruction you feel will have runtime error. Okay. File not found, division by zero, value error. Okay. And there are 7 8. Not introductory. We're talking only about runtime error. Okay. We'll talk about only runtime error. I'll take you to documentation and we'll see that. So whichever line you think, okay, can give exception, that you have to put it in try. Okay, try. So try means the, okay, so Python is not ready to handle runtime error. Okay, and then to catch. So this is try. So where you know how, which line can throw error. Now to catch, you have to say except. Except exception name, value error. Okay, and here you can say print. Okay, ending the execution of program because you have not entered a valid number. See, it's up to you how you handle it. Okay, you want to continue, we'll see how to continue doing. So we can put it in a while and we can continue doing. So idea here is that you are foreseeing the problems and your program will not exit with some random value. Okay, even if you want to end, like for example, if here I want to end, right? So I will not get exit code 1. Exit code 1 means error. Your program did not run correctly. Now when I run it, okay, and I enter a number here, let's say R. Okay. Okay. So see what happened. This error did not happen. Here I gave B0, right? So it is giving this error. So here also I can put this in try block. Okay. So your program did not end there. It continued working, isn't it? Okay. Otherwise, it would have ended here. It wouldn't have gone further. It did not go. It gave us a message. If we go up and see, ending the execution of a program because you have not entered a valid number. And program continued. It did not end. Now it found the next error. And here I can put try block and I can say accept. And here I'm going to copy the exception that it gave, which is zero division error. Okay, and then I'm going to say print zero division error, please retry or whatever. Okay, now when you run R, so see, there is no red mark, right? Program has executed what you call as gracefully. The program, you cannot perform, right? You cannot find, but at least you did not get error. You did not get those red lines. You did not get -1. Your program has ended. So this is to handle. Okay. Now we can see how to handle it. Now, for example, let's say this entire thing, you can put it in a same try block. So, we can put, I'll remove this try. Okay. And here I'm putting this. Now you see, here, whichever error comes, whichever gives first error, that will throw it to except. Okay, that will throw it to except. Okay, now here you have both the errors, but with this error, if I give this error, right, this will throw, and you can give multiple except, just like if else conditions, whichever except is matching first. Whichever except is matching first, that will be executed. So when I run this program, okay, when I say, let's say T here, see, ending the execution of program because you have not entered a valid number. So this got executed, not this, right? Now if I run the same program, let's say I enter valid 5. So see, 0 division error, please retry, right? So it knows which exception to follow. And you have something called as default, okay? Except exception. This is default exception, okay? Default exception means, okay, so let's say exception happened, okay? It will check first except, no match, no match, no match. If none of them matches, it will go to exception. Exception like a else condition, default. If none of the things match, it will go to exception, right? So I can say here, not sure what, but some error occurred, right? Now, this has to be always at the end, okay? Because if you put it in the beginning, if I put it here in the beginning of except, then none of this will be reachable, because this is for, it's called base class for all the exception. So whatever exception you get, it will go to this one only, right? So even if I enter T, it is going to exception, okay? If you are entering 0 also, it is going here. Because when matching starts, exception is for all the exception, isn't it? So when you say all the exception, it is going there. It is not taking down. So your exception has to be the last one. Otherwise, there is no point of doing. Yes. Yeah, there's no point doing that, right? Otherwise, you just put exception and do your work, or you put it at the end, saying, okay. Now, okay. Now there is one more statement called finally. Okay. So finally, and I'm going to put here print. Thank you. Okay. Finally will be called irrespective of error or no error. Okay. So something that you want to perform, okay, error or no error, you can put it in finally. So for example, let's say I want to add 2 numbers. Okay. So I'm going to say num1 equal to int of input, enter first number, and here I'm going to say num2, enter second number, right? Now this can give error, right? So I can say try, okay, and I can say except value error. So something like this, unknown error occurred, changing the values to default values of 99 and 40, let's say. And in that case, what I can do is I can do finally and I can do sum equal to A plus B. Okay, and I'm going to say print sum. Okay, so advantage is when you run it, okay, if I enter 5 and 10, oh, it is first error. Okay, wait, let me copy and paste it somewhere else. Test 2. This is our file, right? I'm going to put it here. Okay. Yeah. So it's not AB, right? It is num1 plus num2, right? Okay. So number 5, 10, you get 15, right? In this case, except has no role to play. But when I enter, let's say 5, I'm insert T, right? So see here, I have entered value 5 correctly. Okay, but still what happened? I entered value correctly, but still what happened? It is changing both the values to default values, right? Because that's what we are doing, right? So there is no way using except. See, you can read it like a string and check if it is digit to know whether the entered number is digit or not. But here for except, okay, there is no way to check each number. So what you can do is, okay, I can put this in a try block, and I'm going to say something like this. Okay, except unknown occurred, changing default values to 99. Right? And okay, num2 will be in try now. Okay, enter, and this is the exception. Num2 will now be 40. Right? So now you are handling each exception differently, and you can say sum equal to sum. Right? Now when I run it, if I enter say 5 here, okay, and here I'm entering T, it should be 40 plus 5, 45. Did it? You can handle like this. You can even handle, you can do something like while true. Okay, while true, try. Okay, let me copy this entire thing. Okay, in this case, I'm not setting default value. I want user to again and again enter the value. User to enter values again and again. Okay, so I'm going to say while true, input first number. Okay, now if this does not throw error, I'll say break here. Break means you will come out of the loop. Otherwise, I'm saying unknown error occurred. Please try again. Break is to break from the loop. See, any loop, for loop or while loop, you can use break and continue. Break means come out of the loop. Okay, continue from beginning of. No, it will not go down. It will go up. Go to the beginning of the loop. It will. Pass is to indicate a blank line. See here, when I write except, for example, so I have to give at least one line. When I write true, I have to give at least one line. While, at least, if, I have to write at least one line. So when you are writing each of these things where you need to insert a block, but you don't have anything to write for now, so you'll say pass. I cannot say while true and not give anything and go here and say print. So let's say if you want to come back later and add some logic, for now you just say pass. So pass is a dummy line to indicate that, hold on, we'll add more content later. For now, just continue. Right? If I don't give here pass and if I write directly here, right, then it will give error. So it's like giving a dummy line. That's all. Dummy line. Okay. So here anyway we have content, so there is no need to give pass. See here, when your input is valid, see what I'm doing is, if the input is not valid, I want you to again and again enter. Right? The moment you get the valid number, you break. See, I have given int input here. This line will throw exception if there is exception. If this line throws exception, break will never get called. If this line does not throw exception, break will get called. If this line does not throw exception, that's when you want to break. You want only one value. If the value is valid, our work is done. We'll go to the next line. Okay. If it is not a valid number, okay, then definitely it will go here and it will go to the beginning. So this break will not be called. So whenever you are done, for example, if you remember the guessing number game. Guessing number game, when you have not guessed it right, you want to continue doing. But the moment you got the value, you want to come out of the loop. You don't want to again guess the number, right? Once you get it correctly, then you don't have to guess again. So there we gave break. So whenever we want to break from the loop, when the job of loop is done, then we give break. So here while true, break. Now, okay, when I run it here, okay. So I say enter number T. When I say T, that very line will throw exception. So it will come directly to exception. Unknown number occurred. Please try again. Please try again. Done. But since we have put it in a while, it is going to the beginning of the while. Again, enter first number. Unknown. Enter first number. Right? Now when I say 4, so num will have 4 and it will break from there. Now it is coming to this one actually. Okay. So similarly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put for num2 also. Okay. And I'm saying num2, enter second number. Okay, enter first number, J, occurred, K. So it will not let you go until you enter a valid number, 9. So now it has gone to the second loop. Enter second number, L, O, M, H, no? 8. Okay, answer is 9 plus 8, right? First number is 9 plus 8, 70. Right? So this is how we use exception. Okay, we'll do one program and we'll end our discussion on this thing. So I want you to write a program to input marks in 5 subjects and calculate total and average. Use exception where necessary. Okay, try. So first write the normal program. How to write normal program? For I in range 5 marks equal to int of input, right? Enter marks in subject 1, right? And then I'm going to say sum equal to 0, sum plus equal to marks. Okay, and outside you would say AVG equal to sum by num marks. Okay, and here you define say num marks equal to 5. So you are saying range of num marks, right? Correct? Right? This is a normal program. Yes or no? So when I enter my subject 1, I say 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, you get average. Okay. The problem can come when number of subjects is 0. If I enter, okay, now let me add here also int of input. Int of input total number of subjects. Okay, so when you enter 0, okay, 0 division. Okay, sum is also, division is also 0. So first thing is we have to give try here. Okay, try, and okay, now here if you give incorrect, let's not do anything except I'm going to say value error, right? Value error in print invalid input exiting. Okay, now all these things should be done only when your program is valid, right? If the number of subjects is valid, well, then you have to perform all this. So what I have done, see, you can use your own logic. I'm just showing you different ways of doing things. So what I've done, I'm asking for the subjects, and if it is not a valid number, then then we don't. Okay, then see finally, or maybe what you can do is, finally is done when both error is there or not there, right? But we want these to be done when error is not there, right? So in this case, probably this is not valid way. Okay, we will put this thing here. Okay, now see if this throws error, will come here and you end the program. If it is now, if the input is valid, then we want to continue, right? So when I run it, okay, you enter T, you said invalid input exiting, right? And when we give 1, right? So if I give 1 valid input, then it should ask for number of subjects. The 6 and say average is 6. Okay. So now this work to handle value error for input. Now second error is when you, so if you give non-text, right, or if you give non-number, okay, this will throw error, valid. But what if the number is 0, right? So then this will throw error, correct? So we'll put this thing in a try catch block, okay? But before that, let's talk about here. Yes, wherever you know the line that can give error, that line you can keep in try, so that you can catch it. You get error, but you can catch it, and then it's up to you how you handle it. Either you can exit it, or you want to make them rerun. No, enter. Like last time, see, first what we did, error, we ended. Second time, what we did, when while true, error is there, then keep doing it. So it's up to you how you handle it, right? So here, okay, this is in loop, and I want to, okay, let's say you enter 1, 2, 3 valid, and fourth one is invalid. You don't want the user to again enter 1, 2, 3, right? So what I'll do, I'll use same while true logic here. I'll say while true, okay, and yes, okay. I'll put this in try, and then I will put break here, right? Loop will break, right? And in except value error, print invalid number, invalid entry, or invalid marks, try again. Okay, now let's see. So number of subjects, let's say I give 3. Okay, mark subject 1, I say 50. Subject 2, I give T here. Try again, and you see you're getting subject 2 only. It's not saying 3. Okay. Okay, 50 I went to, let's enter 50 also. Now subject 3. Okay, T 50. So your average is 50. Right? So you are forcing the user to enter a valid input, only then you are moving ahead. Now you can put another try here to check for num marks. Completed. First, so look at this and complete what I said, right? Add try block for here also, average. I can send this code in the chat. So you can do this using if and else also, exception. But thing is, if and else program will be lengthy and it will be even more confusing. Exception is the efficient way of doing it. I can do if, okay, is digit. If it is digit only, you do int, otherwise you don't do, right? So there will be, unless it will get more complex. So except, okay, is efficient way of handling errors. Done? Okay. One more concept we'll do before we end. So let's see. In this case, look here. If number is number of subjects, number of marks, number of subject is non-number, then we are throwing value error. But what if they enter -2? Then what will happen? Okay, so I enter and I say -2. Okay, so we can create our own exceptions also. Okay, to create our own exception, we have to declare a class first. Okay, we call it a user defined exceptions. So I'm going to say class, okay, and I call it as negative number. Okay, this has to extend the main class, which is the exception class. Okay, so negative number, and for now I'm just giving pass. I don't want to write anything here. Just created an empty class. Now, when you create an exception class, you can raise this exception. So what I'm going to do here, when okay, input num marks. Okay, so if num marks is less than 0. Okay, let's not handle 0 because 0 we are handling down. Okay, I'm going to say raise negative number. So see, when it is inbuilt exception, you don't have to raise because Python knows, oh, condition matched, I need to throw exception. But when you're creating your own exception, you have to manually raise the exception. I'm saying raise negative number. Again, negative number is exception, isn't it? So now when I run it, okay, and I say -2. See what happened? It says main dot negative number. So this is how you can throw your own exception also. Okay. If I say base exception, okay, and you enter -2. So see, it says negative number, right? Now, can I catch it? I'm going to say except negative number, print, sorry, you are not allowed to enter negative numbers, exiting. Okay, so you got exit code 1, right? So now, okay, I say -3. Sorry, you're not allowed to enter negative numbers. So you can create your own exception and you can handle it just like, what is it is? Raise, you have to manually raise it. It will not automatically get raised. Okay, you have to manually raise it. Okay, and you can handle it the way you would handle any exception, except your own exception name. And you can write whatever you want to. Okay, so yes, with that we finish our exception handling. Okay, I will share this, make the changes in your program, and then okay.